afternoon, everybody. It's Stephen and Paul back at you on a Monday afternoon, September the 20th, for another edition of Daily Brief, where we have our little take on the headlines of the day from Microsoft. First up, we've got a firm date on both the launch and of when we're going to get our handsets, which we didn't have before. We had the launch, which was October 11th. But
we had that fairly well nailed.
Yeah, we had that one nailed down pretty tight. But most words had the handsets coming in around November something, but now we're hearing that the handsets are going to land on the 21st of October.
Well, you know what? It's really, really good to have a definite date as to where this is coming out, as to when they're coming out. You know, we can start really putting our pennies away and knowing when we're going to be able to go get these things. But apparently this has been broken. It was on Softpedia. It's come through a German site along the way somehow or another. But, you know, as we said, you know, we talked about this last week, how, you know, we were fairly sure that it was going to be October. Yeah. We've been speculating for weeks and weeks and weeks. We had pinned it down to the beginning of October, and then last week again we heard the rumor that it would be October 11th. But there was, as of up until today, no mention as to when we would get handsets. Yeah. And now we know exactly when we'll be able to get our grubby little mitts on a set and play with them.
Which means...
Quiet over there.
Well, no, see, I'm just going by the fact, well, they might come out on the 21st, but my chances of getting one are still 2 years out. So you're going to be the first one up for it, buddy. So we'll have to rely on you being able to get your hands on one, I think.
I tell you what, let's get Microsoft to send us a couple of them. And you know what, one of them that I would like them to send, if they do feel so inclined, is the Samsung Cetus, which we have talked about on many an episode. We've showed a few pictures of it, but we've actually got video of it now in the wild. The video came out of a longer short... see, tongue-tied. That's what I get for eating peanut butter sandwiches before we start recording the show. It actually came out of a longer recording that was done on Channel 9's Inside Windows Phone. And we got about a minute and a half clip of somebody using the Cetus i917. And oddly enough, what he's showing off is an app for controlling his home, including doing things like, you know, opening and closing your garage doors and all that sort of stuff while you're not there, doing it remotely via proxy. So that was fairly cool, and it's nice to see this little handset. It's a 4-inch handset, 800 by 480 screen. Looks very, very small for a 4-inch screen, but yeah, Microsoft, I'm over here. 21st.
Actually, the one I really would like to get my hands on is the Dell handset. We've only seen the renderings of it so far. We haven't seen any of it out in the wild. But from the renderings I've seen of it, that is going to be a really, really sweet phone.
That's the one that looked really, really curvy, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, those renderings looked awesome, but you know, until I see something a little bit more substantial, I'm just going to keep my mindset on the Cetus.
Yeah. The one other thing we've had to deal with is a lot of the analysts have been coming out saying that, well, you know, they might do okay, but it's just going to be another failure for Microsoft. It's blah 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 blah. But one of the analysts, Ovum, something or other, has come out with saying that they figured that Microsoft's going to be able to pull this one off. They're going to be able to actually compete against the Android and the iPhone without any problem whatsoever. They're more than capable.
It's a guy called Tim Renaudin, and he's an analyst for devices and platforms at Ovum. And this all apparently came out during an email interview with ZDNet Asia, or ZDNet Asia. And basically his deal is that, you know, at the moment, RIM, BlackBerry, Android and iPhone can't really compete with those on sort of a security level, on sort of an integration level. Yeah. But Microsoft has an opportunity there to come in, and so IT departments and companies corporations, etc., are going to see this as a corporate-friendly phone, because even though it's not being launched as a corporate phone, the integration will be there, which is something that Apple and Android do not have.
It'll be baked in one way or another. But that's the end of the phone news. On the other side, we have the gamers.
We have the gaming news, but you know what? You almost had a perfect segue there saying baked in.
I know.
Because one thing that has definitely been baked in this weekend, and this week since the launch of Halo Reach, is the sheer volume of Halo Reach games that have been probably burned, no mind baked, onto people's eyes at this point. Bungie have released some interesting stats, and this story came out early this morning, so this will give you an idea. 6 days after the game has gone on sale, more than 31 million multiplayer games have been played since launch, and that's on Halo Reach. 98 million player games have been recorded. 8,200,000 odd daily challenges completed. 78.5 million total credits have been earned. 953 man-years have been spent in match-made games. 1,365 man-years have been spent playing the campaigns. The statistics go on and on and on. But it just goes to, show the enthusiasm that has surrounded Halo, which also accounts for its massive $200 million first day. So this was kind of to be expected.
Yeah. The only problem was that apparently Microsoft has received a number of complaints about disk errors. But it's only when it comes to playing on certain versions of Xbox 360 consoles.
Microsoft has said that, some people are getting what literally comes up as a disk read error.
Yeah.
And Microsoft said, if you have this problem, ring 1-800 for my Xbox for troubleshooting and assistance. But basically, this is mostly affecting people who bought the 20 gig Xbox 360 Pro, which was on the market from 2005 to 2008. Now, some minor issues have been reported with the 120 gig Xbox 360 Elite, but basically it's just these users that are having a problem. And we would suspect that considering it's just these users, it's probably something that is fixable in software and small updates. So that's going to... But obviously it hasn't affected sales.
No, it hasn't affected sales, hasn't affected usage. It's like, this is definitely going to be probably, I would say, Microsoft's blockbuster game for quite a while. It's going to be a hard one for them to beat.
For the foreseeable future, at least.
Yeah. The other thing that isn't going to be hard to beat is apparently the clones are on the march when it comes to Kinect.
Well, you know what they say, when the clones are coming, you've made it.
Yeah.
But apparently Chinese game manufacturers are offering something that acts quite like the Kinect, but it's not the Kinect. Now all we have is a picture of it. There's no video. There's not that much reports of it except for a press release. But basically, if you can, basically whenever a console comes out, you see all these cheap clones coming out.
Yep.
And basically all they tend to be is standalone machines that have, like 30 bog standard games, and that's all you can do with it.
Yeah. And
this is another version of that. It looks like it's got a cheap version of the PlayStation's iCamera, or whatever you call it, that sits on that the PlayStation uses, sitting on top of a TV, and this box with bog standard graphics, and that's putting it politely.
Yeah.
And people are obviously saying, is this competition to Kinect and the whole lot? But it's no competition. No. Yes, there will be a few grannies and older people who are tricked into buying it because they think they're buying the right thing for their nephews or nieces or granddaughters or grandsons or whatever the case may be. But I think that's really as far as the market is going to go. There's not going to be anybody really going to confuse this with Kinect.
No, I don't think so. Speaking of confusion, I just want to do a little bit of house cleaning notice here. This last week we were running a contest for IOLO Search and Recover, and we kind of messed up, or let me put it bluntly, I messed up. And so we are going to be extending the contest from this Monday until Friday. It is very simple. All you have to do is follow IOLO.IOLOtech on Twitter.
That's at IOLO_tech.
Yes. And retweet. I think we'll have the actual retweet that you can click as part of the show notes from here on in, and also as part of any of the posts that go out during the day. We apologize for that to both IOLO and to our listeners. It won't happen again.
Much.
We tried. We're still in the process of perfecting this show, but we're getting there.
We're only 13 episodes in. Unlucky 13.
Yes.
So bad enough.
But on that note, this is Monday, September the 20th. WinExtra's Daily Brief, calling it for a close. We will see you tomorrow.
Have a good one, folks.
Bye, everybody.